So we're just about set to go. They're expecting a sellout today. It's a late arriving crowd here at the Tuck, but about to get it going. We're just watching a little bit of the Virginia victory early. A low scoring game. They won at 49-47 over Wake Forest.
And the Blue Devils now trying to stay ahead of Virginia. They got to second with their loss for Virginia earlier this week, trying to stay in that second place, one win behind Carolina.
Trying to feed downstairs to Baba Miller. Nice feed there by Deontay Green.
But you see the Florida State picking up full court, applying that pressure, 94 feet. And this is where you can miss Tyrese Proctor, the starting point guard for the Blue Devils. But Caleb Foster handling it very well in the first possession.
Foster, the freshman, in there along with another freshman, McCain. Pass will be tipped and collected by FSU, and Jamir Watkins, watch him today. If he has a big day, FSU is going to be in it all the way, and he will lay that one in.
And Obi, that is Florida State basketball that we've known to grow and love. And when you think about turning defense into offense, they lead the ACC with over 9 steals per game and turn a steal into a bucket on that possession.
So a quick start for the Noles, out in front 4-zip. Up top, Mitchell. Filipowski with a touch. McCain will launch and swish it in.
Knockdown shooter.
Welcome to the Tuck here in Tallahassee, Florida. It's the Seminoles off to a quick start as Darren Green Jr. makes 38% from three-point land, knocks that one back, and it's 6-3. Florida State has the lead on Duke. Duke coming in the number 9 team in the country, looking for their 20th win. FSU looking for the upset. Mitchell went airborne, and that one rolled off the iron.
Great job by Deontay Green to be able to contest that, even though it was a lob that should have been finished off.
Jamir Watkins with a misfire there. The big news coming in today, Tyrese Proctor averaging 10 points a game. The 6'5" sophomore guard for the Duke Blue Devils did not make the trip because of a concussion suffered on Monday in the game against Wake Forest. They're going to need a lot of that today from Mark Mitchell, who's really playing some great basketball.
And Mark Mitchell confident, never even thought about, once they were playing off of him, just raised up, knocked down the jumper, foot on the line, so he'll only get 2 for that one. But more important for Mitchell's confidence that he made it.
Jamir Watkins, 26 points, terrific against Virginia Tech in a loss this week. He's got it in the corner, and that'll rattle home. He can be deadly. Also 27 against Syracuse.
But a great job by Jalen Worley creating an opportunity for Watkins. That's one of the things that Florida State needs, is a shot creator for Darren Green, for Watkins, guys who can put the basketball in the hole.
Jeremy Roach, 45% from 3. Duke as a team hits 37% beyond the line. Filipowski downstairs drawing the double, and he'll be fouled right along the baseline. That was with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now Duke looking for their 20th win of the season. For Florida State, it's been a very up and down year, but the conference at the very top with that Virginia win earlier today, and of course North Carolina at the very top. It's getting fun to watch.
It absolutely is, and Duke trying to keep pace with North Carolina, stay ahead of Virginia, but this has always been a tough place for the Blue Devils to have success. The last time they were here, they lost an overtime game, and you can believe that the fans here in the Tuck remember that. They're looking for a similar outcome here today.
Yep, that was 79-78. Duke all time has a big lead in the series as Mitchell will draw the foul. They lead 43-11. They've won 11 of the last 13 games. As we check in with Myron Metcalf.
Yeah, Duke and North Carolina, obviously that was a big time matchup, but since then North Carolina's been 1-2. Duke has won 3 games in a row and really had a lot of momentum, and it could set up a regular season finale between those two teams where the winner goes home with the regular season title in the ACC, with both of those teams coming into Saturday with 3 league losses.
And Myron, one of the things, as you mentioned, that 3-0, those last 3 wins for the Blue Devils, they all have been at home. Now Duke gets out on the road for 3 straight. So is there anything that the coaches talked to you about earlier that may lead to their mentality being different through these games?
Well, they know they've had some trouble here in Tallahassee, Corey. 2 out of the last 3 games Florida State has won, and they've kind of had their number a little bit, so they know they have to have a different attitude, especially with Proctor out, to get this win down here.
So Florida State might play 12 guys today. John Shire and Duke might play 6, maybe 7.
Well, in this game, I believe Jon Scheyer is going to have to go a little deeper into his bench simply because Florida State picks up their pressure. Then without Proctor, you can wear down these guards. So I expect to see Jalen Blakes, who had 17 against Florida State the last time they played. I expect to see him getting in off the bench.
Roach to penetrate. Here comes McCain. Little shove off there, but he drops it down. He is a tough guard.
That's a guy that you may want to leave out there for 40 minutes. However, Jared McCain has really been Duke's most consistent performer. When you can take away the first few games of the season, over the last 18 games, he's probably been their most consistent guy.
Green Jr. And it rattles home. We were watching him shoot earlier today, and in practice nailed everything. FSU is doing that in the game now. They've made 5 of their first 6.
Well, Darren Green came into the game with 356 made three-point field goals, so he's a guy that has traditionally been able to knock it down from deep.
Yeah, he had 21 against Georgia, 24 against North Florida. He gets rolling. It can be lights out. Rolling to the basket. Up and in for 2. Cam Corrin, the 6'10" sophomore. Last 8 games, he's making 81% of his shots. They're all right about there.
And another nice find from Jalen Warley, who now has 2 assists early in this game.
Mitchell on the back down. No whistle. See if they really let them play today. Filipowski got tangled up along the side. Well, FSU's got to be delighted with the way they're shooting it out of the gates.
Absolutely. Darren Green Jr. from beyond the arc. Kyle Filipowski too far back to be able to affect that. And then Jalen Warley dropping the dime. Cam Corrin with the easy 2. The Seminoles here, and then we talked about the overtime matchup. The last time Florida State was able to beat Duke on this floor. Coach Ham, of course, has seen his fair share of exciting games, as we mentioned. 14 consecutive overtime wins for the Seminoles, which is an NCAA record.
Which is a joke, right? I mean, how does that happen? How does any coach, any program, win 14 straight overtime games in Division I college basketball? Roach will launch and knock down a 3.
That's a confident shot for Jeremy Roach over the outstretched hand of the, what would he call him, 6'12" Bob Miller, who
does not want to be called a 7-footer, so he goes by, call me 6'12". Green Jr. giving off for Watkins. He's their top scorer at 15 a game, and they just keep making shots. That's 7 out of 8.
But too easy for Watkins to get into the painted area. Of course, already knocked down a 3-ball, so you got to honor him from beyond the arc. But one of the ACC's best. You got to give him more resistance as we go over to Myra.
Yeah, Leonard Hamilton was just stressing the fundamentals, arms outstretched, making sure you're being active as you're playing these passes, trying to deflect passes. So he's been doing it a long time, and you can see why he's had so much success. Not pleased with this start.
Well, he can't be pleased with the offensive start. He has to be. Florida State started this game 6 of 7 from the field with no turnovers. And OB, this is a team that comes in with a negative assist-to-turnover rate in ACC play, a -2 on the season.
They have 8 points in the paint. Here comes Filipowski down the lane to draw the foul. And a big sophomore who does not mind being referred to as a 7-footer will be headed to the line out of Westtown, New York. He and freshman Jared McCain both had double-doubles against Wake this week.
Yeah, the 3rd in the last 4 games for Jared McCain. A 6'2" guard rebounding the way that he has. Unbelievable the way he's been able to get to the glass.
Yeah, he's become Charles Barkley on the glass. Unbelievable. Filipowski at the line, 65%. I think also one of the most underrated passers in the ACC. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, and especially for a guy that gets the basketball in the post area so much, to be able to drop dimes. As we look at his 20 and 10 games this season, 6 leads the ACC alongside North Chatham-Mere of Miami.
Filipowski has had at least 3 assists in a game 19 times in his career.
And OB, as Ryan Young comes in for Filipowski, you're talking about a young man who had 20 and 12 against FSU last year. So I'm sure he was high on the scouting report for Florida State this week.
He doesn't turn in many like that, so that was a huge effort. Going to be a whistle here with 14:03 to go in the first half. Florida State having dropped their last one at Blacksburg despite 26 from Watkins. They'll shoot about 45% as a team, 32% from three. But in reality, their defense has not been quite up to FSU standards this year.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, that's the thing with Leonard Hamilton, as he's talked about, really doesn't have many veterans in the program to be able to teach the younger players as the way Florida State plays and the culture that has been established here truly over the last 10 to 15 years, and having veterans to show the young guys.
Watkins with a shot clock down to 6, lost the handle. He turns it over to Foster. Duke with an opportunity to tie it up on a 3, but a foul in the paint will go against the Seminoles. Seminoles with 8 players scoring 5 points or more, and nobody more than 15 points. That'll go against their top scorer, Watkins.
But Watkins over 17 in the last 5 games. He's become their go-to guy as he picks up the foul. And one of those guys that Leonard Hamilton has had to trust this season, even though he's in his first year with the Seminoles.
6'10" Jalen Gainey into the game now for Leonard Hamilton. Young up top for McCain straight away. Well, it's like a layup for him.
But that's just a defensive mistake by Primo Spears. You got to understand, Jared McCain at the top of the key, even if there is a shooter on that baseline, you got to make sure you stay with the guy who's shooting over 40%, one of the best shooters in the ACC.
Watkins kicks for the corner. Bol Bowen in and out. He's a 6'10" freshman.
And Bol Bowen now 3 of 21 from beyond the arc on the season.
Oh.
And speaking of freshmen that can shoot it, this young man may be the best in the league when you consider the confidence that he's playing with right now. The Blue Devils on an 8-0 run.
McCain with another one. Duke 4 for their last 5 from three-point land. In the corner, Spears. Watkins trying to wriggle free, dumps it downstairs, blocked by Mitchell. In transition, here come the Blue Devils. Roach, oh, look away pass for Young. That's going to be blocked by Watkins. So these two teams attacking each other defensively. The officials taking a look, and it'll go the other way. 19-16.
Jamir Watkins not conceding the easy layup, goes up top. Ooh, I believe he got away with one on that one, OB. From that angle, it looked like it hit the glass first. And it does hit the glass first. So Jamir Watkins fortunate that wasn't a goaltend, as Ryan Young looks at the officials wondering why he did not get a bucket on that possession.
Well, traditionally, Florida State is among the best or the very best shot blocking teams in the country. It's not been true this year. Get a lot of steals.
Yeah, Coach Ham talked to us about that earlier today. With each, they don't play with the same size we're used to seeing Florida State play with either.
McCain again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes.
Uh-oh.
Another 3 for the outstanding freshman Jared McCain, who is on fire. And he's the biggest reason they have pulled off an 11-0 run.
And he's really the biggest reason for the resurgence of the Blue Devils. They struggled to start ACC play this year, but Jared McCain has been the guy that's grown up right in front of our eyes.
Bol Bowen with a pull-up pop, got it to go. He was actually born in a refugee camp in Egypt and adopted by a family in Vermont, a son of parents who fled the Second Sudanese Civil War. 22-18 Duke. Boy, McCain just wants it, and why not when you're this hot? Filipowski powering his way to travel. Well, Jared McCain, the story early.
Jared McCain has grown to love the state of Florida. Not 1, not 2, but 3 three-point field goals for McCain in a row. Have to be able to handle the pressure, and Duke does a great job on this possession. As you see, when Ryan Young catches the basketball under the basket out of the trap, Primo Spears is stuck in between 2 players. At that point, you have to recognize who is the better shooter. You have to take away Jared McCain, make him make that extra pass to the corner to Caleb Foster, who hasn't shot the basketball as well as McCain has. that maybe saves you 3 points, but that's a layup for Jared McCain at the top of the key.
McCain 14 points, 4 for 4 from 3, 5 for 5 overall, sizzling to begin the game here in Tallahassee for Duke. Duke is 5 out of 6 beyond the 3.
And look at this, Obi. Duke now in a zone defensively. That's the lack of respect they have for Florida State shooting. They're going to make someone have to make threes because it's been difficult to keep them out of the paint.
So Watkins has it spin out. Man, it was in the cylinder.
And Watkins has made a 3 already, but this Florida State team is shooting only 32% on the year. Only Darren Green and Tom House shoot over 33%. So you'll give those shots.
Roach slithering inside, laid it up well short. In transition, Primo Spears. Watkins won't wait, and a foul on the play with 10:29 to go.
And it's difficult to draw a charge in today's game. However, Jalen Blake sets up camp in there and just waits for Jamir Watkins to run him over. That's a play where Watkins has to either pull up or find a way to go around Jalen Blake. That was a great call by Roger Ayers. Oftentimes, it's difficult to even get that call in today's game.
So Duke basketball. Jalen Blake's at 6'2", the junior. As you mentioned, he scored 17 points against Florida State on December the 9th of 22. That was in Durham. We also talked about Ryan Young getting 20 and 12 in a wild one in a 19-point Duke victory, which is actually at Cameron Indoor. But both of those reserves have had some of the best moments of their career against FSU.
Both those guys had a big game against Florida State last year. And now without Tyrese Proctor, they're going to be called on even more so throughout this game. Also, Sean Stewart, Florida native from the Orlando area, now getting into the mix. I'm sure his dad Yogi's in the stands as the Blue Devils turn it off.
Spears with the pick. He'll go up against the blue shirts and lay it in, and he takes a tumble into the photogs.
That's a great finish by Primo Spears, getting to the basket. This is a young man who wasn't available for Florida State early, didn't get eligible until December the 16th, but it's been a double-digit scorer for them since his debut.
Roach to operate, finds the lane, just too quick.
Obi, when you play against Florida State, you have to have guys that can just win the individual matchup off the bounce because they're going to switch everything defensively. Jeremy Roach taking advantage of his quickness against Baba Miller on the last possession.
Nickelberry looking inside. 6'5" senior. Miller trying to make a move. He'll draw the whistle. Now back to Roach a moment ago.
Asking the 6'12" Baba Miller to go out and defend Jeremy Roach that far from the basket is a tough task. But what Florida State normally does with their bigs, even when you beat them, they're able to go block that shot. That time Roach does a great job getting it high on the glass, avoiding the rim protector.
Roach tops in the ACC in assist to turnover ratio, rarely kicks it over. And this will be picked off by Blakes. Up ahead of the field, goes up strong and draws the foul. He'll be at the line for a three-point play.
Obi, when you have a big game against a team, you remember it, and you play with confidence when you see them again. Jalen Blake's already starting the game with that type of confidence. 17 points the last time these two teams got together, and he's a young man that is awesome on the defensive end of the floor, turning his defense into offense. 2 points and an opportunity for 3 at the line.
And he'll knock down the three-point play. 10 out of 11 at the line this season.
John Shire loves Jalen Blake's toughness. He says he's the one guy that he knows is going to compete every possession when you put him on the floor.
Miller curling in. Boy, that's a tough shot off the window.
Yeah, especially for a guy that's 6'12". You're talking about being able to move and the mobility for someone that size.
McCain in the lane and has it stripped, and FSU comes away with it. That is part of their defensive DNA. Lots of steals for the Noles. Corin trying to get free, and it's batted away. 8:36 to go in the half. And Duke on top by 5. Duke averaging about 81 points a game, leading the ACC in shooting percentage at 38%. Green Jr. too strong. Miller went over the top and commits the foul as he went for the rebound. So 8.5 to go. And coming up next on ESPN, our featured games roll on. Number 6 Kansas squaring off against number 25 Oklahoma. Then it's number 22 Kentucky and number 13 Auburn in a Sonic blockbuster. We've got a timeout. Duke on top 27-22 at FSU. The Noles looking for an upset today.
You really can't overstate the Gecko's influence on culture.
He's got cartoons, breakfast cereals, the best advice.
Geico can help protect your home and what's in it.
When I see him helping people, I'm full of pride and joy.
He influenced an entire generation.
But the shoes are iconic. I'm getting married in these.
He's touched so many lives.
I mean, just look at us.
From cars to home to jewelry, it's easy to Geico.
And back, no timeout called there. Duke opens up a 29-22 advantage at the line. FSU with the basketball. Primo Spears. Nickelberry will line up a long one. In and out. Certainly not a forte of the Noles. As Corey mentioned, just 32% beyond the three.
And that's been a struggle for them this year, but more importantly, they haven't had guys that really created opportunities and easy shots for others.
Blake's back to Filipowski. He'll attack, lost it. Fast break opportunity. Spears getting it for Corrin inside and will lay it in.
Great recognition by Corrin, seeing that Mark Mitchell was going to be coming in for the block behind him. Maneuvers around and able to get it on the glass.
Quick hands of Florida State causing some problems for Duke. Duke has turned it over 6 times. That's going to be a traveling violation. No basket there. 7.5 left in the half.
Well, Duke got it going offensively. Florida State trying to fight back with their defense, turning it into offense. Cam Corrin running the floor, getting the good look under the rack.
Opened up a lot of doors for the next generation of African-American coaches throughout college basketball, fellas.
Leonard making history. First black assistant coach at the University of Kentucky. He's what, 75 now? And we're chatting with him today, and I can't believe it. I mean, he's in such great shape. And asked him, how do you do that? Because he still looks like $1 million. As Jackson knocks it too. And he said, basically clean living. For many, many years, he said, I've always eaten the right things. I eat a lot of vegetables. I don't eat a lot of red meat. He's way in front of people, and back in the 70s on that. He's a man of great faith as well.
Absolutely. That's, Leonard Hamilton. So back to Myron's story is Jared McCain.
Oh, that's going to go.
Knocks down his 5th three, which is a career high for Jared McCain. 5 3-point field goals in a game. Has that already with still 6.5 minutes left to go in the first half. But to Myron's story, Leonard Hamilton actually did, and when he went to be a chemical salesman, he didn't even call into work and tell him he wasn't going to be there that day. He got on the plane, flew to Kentucky to meet with Joby Hall, and forgot to tell the people. He only worked one day, Obi. Right. He went to work on Monday, was not there on Tuesday.
Around and out. Duke leading at 32-26.
We talk about Coach Ham and his great faith. Also the owner of a Christian record label.
Oh,
Jared McCain is on fire here in Tallahassee. I believe the weather in the state of Florida suits him. Of course, a California native, he must love the climate here.
He cannot miss. Duke 35, FSU 26. Spears to the lane with a fall away. Yes.
Obi, you and I were here 2 seasons ago when we watched Hunter Couture hit 9 threes on this floor. Jared McCain already with 6. And believe me, this young man, he is looking for another one. He will not stop shooting.
Well, here he'll take a 2 off the window and a pretty scoop shot.
And he has something to say to the crowd, who I'm sure has been talking to him about his painted fingernails. And one of Jared's favorite lines, I've heard him say it time and time again, is y'all letting a guy with painted fingernails cook y'all out here. And I'm sure that's what he's thinking and saying to the crowd as he is getting busy here in the tuck. Jared McCain knocking down the long distance 3, getting a home roll, and then the pull up off the bounce, the step back, and adding the nice finish off the glass just for good measure.
In the zone, McCain 22 points, 8 for 8. Everybody else 15 points, but he is a one-man show, it feels like.
He absolutely has been that, OB. I've known this young man for quite some time, since he won a Peach Jam championship with Russell Westbrook's team Why Not out of Southern California.
Jackson gets hit while taking the mid-range jumper. Chandler Jackson will go to the line for a three-point play.
And Chandler Jackson getting into the painted area, able to finish through the contact of Mark Mitchell, and a much-needed bucket for Florida State, as Jared McCain had gotten on quite the roll.
Yeah, averaging 13 points a game. Blew through that really quickly. His career high and season high, 24 points against Queens. That was back in December.
But OB, Jared McCain embodies what John Shire's looking for. He's told us, I want our guys to be cocky on the road. When you're a Duke, you're going to get every team's best shot. So you have to be as confident.
Off the fake, here he goes again. That one too strong. And he's hearing it from the crowd here at the tuck. He's giving it back to him.
I tell you what, that's when you know you've made an impression. That's the first missed shot for Jared McCain. Now 8 of 9 from the field was a perfect 8 of 8.
On the entry gain, he can't get it. In transition, Foster. Again, if you're just tuning in, Tyrese Proctor missing the game with a concussion for Duke. So they're shorthanded there. Coming up on 4 minutes to go in the first half. Roach to penetrate. That's going to be blocked. Gainey got a piece of it. Spears on the other end. Scoots in for 2.
A strong response from the Seminoles. Chandler Jackson getting to the mid-range, and now Primo Spears attacking off the bounce, being able to score in transition. And just like that, Florida State has made a 4-point game. They're not done in the tuck. They're ready to fight back. Nation's longest 23-game winning streak broken earlier this week. Pittsburgh coming in and getting a win on that floor, but Virginia back to its winning ways at home. We actually have them Monday, big road test for the Hoos in Blacksburg. As you see, Virginia now at 11-4. Duke trying to keep pace with the Hoos and get a win on the road here today. However, Florida State with a great response after the flurry from Jared McCain early.
Overlook Virginia at your peril, I say. Under 4. This has been the McCain show here in the first half. He scored more points in the first half than any Duke player so far this year, 22. Here's Mitchell playing the best basketball of his young career. Shot clock's down to 4. Roach got a look at it. Up it goes, but no. And a rebound picked by the Noles. They have the momentum right now.
They absolutely do, and they want to keep it going. After a great defensive stand on the last possession, you want to go to some of your best offense to see if you can get a quality look at the basket. Remember, they're doing this without Jamir Watkins, who's been out with the 2 fouls.
Jackson, shot clock at issue now, down to 6. The pull-up pop short. Pop free, a scramble for that. Ball still free. It went right into the Duke bench, and it's going to stay on this end for the Seminoles. Now Watkins, their top scorer, 15 a game, coming off 26 in their loss against Virginia Tech. He was terrific in that game. He had 4 assists, 3 blocks as well, but in foul trouble. 3 minutes to go. So again, for a period of 5 or 6 minutes, it looked like Duke was going to get a big lead. But back came the Seminoles, and Duke without a point in the last 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
And showing a lot of maturity for the Seminoles. Whenever you see someone get going the way they've watched Jared McCain, 6 of 7 from beyond the three-point arc here in this first half, oftentimes teams can fold, but the Seminoles have had no quit in them.
Boy, quick crossover there by Primo Spears. Battle for the rebound. And it'll be Duke ball. Taylor Bowen thought he got hit on the play. They are letting him roll. Been plenty physical here in the first half.
Jalen Blake's back into the game, giving Jeremy Roach a break. Jared McCain thought he was coming in for him. John Shire looking as hell, no, buddy, you're not coming off the floor. You stay out there. This could be one where we could see Jared McCain play the entire game. When you're that hot, you definitely don't want to go sit down.
Yeah, that's for sure. One of the great performances for a half we've seen all season long. And that's a really difficult shot by Foster in heavy traffic.
Yes, strong take by Caleb Foster. Great size for a point guard. Is able to finish amongst the trees using a strong body.
FSU, a deep bench is mentioned. They've got 22 points out of it in the first half. That's impressive. Bowen tried to make a move. Mitchell cut him.
Great job defensively by Mark Mitchell, keeping Bowen out of the paint.
5 to shoot. Primo Spears, that missed ugly. And it's tapped out by the Noles. And Duke by 6 under 2.
And after the flurry of scoring we saw from both teams, now we've come to a much slower pace. Each team doing a better job forcing the opponent to get later into that shot clock to try to find a shot. And they haven't been quality looks for either team as of late.
FSU just 2-5 in their last 7 in the ACC. Is McCain on the spin. Nice dish. Filipowski will get it in.
Great play by Jared McCain, recognizing he was going to have 10 defensive eyes on him. The easy drop off to Filipowski, who gets the easy bucket.
Jackson off for Green Jr. Follows his own miss. They'll get a second opportunity. Filipowski tipped it. That's going to be saved to Bowen. Round the horn they go for Green Jr. Up against Mitchell, the spin. That won't fall. Bowen, big rebound. Cradles that. 3 men around him. And a third opportunity.
Great job by Bowen crashing the glass. John Shire felt as though that ball should have been back to Duke, as though they stepped on the baseline.
Primo on the move and draws the foul as he hits the deck. 6'3" junior from Hartford, Connecticut, with 54 seconds to play in the half. UFC 298 tonight, highlighted by the featherweight title main event. Alexander Volkanovski defends his title against Ilya Toporovi. Check me on that one. The main card begins at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view, at the prelims at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN Deportes.
One thing I will not be doing is checking you on that. Yeah. I am a firm believer. If the notorious DOB says it, I'm rolling with it. And by the way, you said someone's name was Alexander. I'm rooting for him in that battle this evening.
So it'll be Spears at the line at 76%. Is second too strong.
Spears, as we mentioned earlier, becoming eligible December the 16th. Immediately had a double-figure game coming off the bench for Florida State, and he provides a scoring punch for them with their reserves.
Foster looking for an opening, can't stick it. Florida State looking to creep a little closer. Under 30 to go in the half. And Spears will set it up. First slowdown we've had in the first 20 minutes. These two teams have really been getting after it.
And Florida State doesn't want to give Duke much time on the offensive end for the last possession of this game.
Spears trying to dish into the lane, picked off by Duke. Nice give here from McCain. McCain stepping back. Drills another triple. Incredible first half for Jared McCain.
And he's having a conversation with some.
To watch a basketball player in that zone like that, every time down he wants the ball, and he's going to score every time.
And he has the mentality, OB. He's not going to let his foot off the pedal because he had so much success in the first half. He will be looking for another 25 if they give him the opportunities here in this second half.
Mitchell will start the second half. First shot is off the glass. Florida State down 10. And a long one coming is swished in by Darren Green Jr. He can do it too. He's capable of some big scoring performances.
He absolutely is capable at OB. I'm sure that that's not what John Shire wanted to see defensively from his team on the first possession, because he knows Darren Green can get back really quick.
Filipowski with a quick answer on the other end. Talking about Darren Green Jr. comes in averaging 12 points a game. Miller can't connect. Green Jr. has an uncle, David, who's actually a quarterback at Duke in the mid-90s. On a cut and a big deflection.
That's the second time we've seen Watkins go up top and deny an opportunity for the Blue Devils.
Worley going in strong in a blocking foul. As Roach hits the deck as well. Back to the rejection on the other end.
This is one Caleb Foster would love to have back. You cannot go that nonchalant when you've got an athlete like Watkins on the other side. He comes over and cleanly rubs that one on the glass, getting Florida State out into transition and allowing Jalen Worley to get to the free throw line.
Worley, 6'7" junior out of Philly. And runs the point. He's 7 points a game.
Obi, oftentimes Worley not enough of a scoring threat on the floor. However, had 23 points against Louisville and has only had 14 combined points in the 3 games after that. So good to see him being a little more aggressive to start the second half.
Also at 19 in their early season upset of top 20 Colorado. You think easily their best win of the year?
Oh, absolutely. But I can tell you right now, they want this one. This is the one they're trying to get on their resume. Anytime you get Duke to come into your home, you want to walk away with a statement.
Foster trying to get that pass off to Mitchell, deflected out by Worley.
Great job by Worley getting around Mark Mitchell, getting the deflection, unable to come away with the steal, however disrupting the offensive rhythm of the Blue Devils.
So McCain will check it in, the freshman out of Sacramento, California. And a kick ball. Resetting shot clock to 20. And Roach will set it up now for John Shire's offense. And intended for him. Going to say it was tipped and out of bounds off FSU.
I tell you what, fortunately, because McCain came off clean on that possession, and he's the last guy you want to see getting a wide open look for those supporting the Seminoles here in this building.
Foster on the drive. Roach gets a look and sticks it.
Great poise by Jeremy Roach, recognizing the shot clock, knowing he had more than enough time to be able to get to a spot in the mid-range and knock down the jumper.
Roach was 7. At the top of the broadcast, we were talking about Tyrese Proctor. He's 6'5" sophomore for Duke, and he did not make the trip because of a concussion that he suffered in their victory over Wake Forest on Monday at Cameron Indoor. So the Blue Devils playing short. Worley, slick move. The tip is up and in.
But by Worley getting into the painted area, even though he didn't make the shot, he opened things up for Cameron Corn to be able to come in and get those second chance points.
Foster wants to get off a shot. High arching shot that goes down.
Great job by Caleb Foster getting to a spot, but also recognizing the outstretched end of Baba Miller. He was going to have to change the trajectory on that shot. It's the bottom of the net.
Watkins stumbling a bit. Talking about stumbling. Foul here in the lane, 16:56 to go. McCain going down, and he is up, grimacing a little bit.
Yeah, McCain looking though his ankle got mixed up in that one as Baba Miller falls down on him. And Baba Miller going to get that foul. These guys, as well as Caleb Foster and Mark Mitchell, all very familiar with each other. Had all 4 of these guys at the Nike Academy in Portland this summer, so played a lot of pickup. I'm sure there's some conversation going on with Baba on the other side.
Baba Miller 6'11".
Listed as 6'11".
Listed as 6'11". Mitchell driving on it. Swatted and a whistle and a foul. That was with just 7 on the shot clock, the foul against Florida State.
But if you're Duke right now, you want to drive everything in the direction of Jared McCain, because there's no way possible Florida State is going to help off of McCain. So you're going to have a driving angle. When you try to get downhill on his side, you're going to have opportunities to play one-on-one, because they're not going to help off 0 and blue.
4 fouls on Baba Miller as Mitchell misses the front end. So still to come, we've got Kansas, number 6, and number 25, Oklahoma at 4 o'clock. Then Auburn and Kentucky, 2 teams in the top 25 at 6 o'clock coming up on ESPN. I think Auburn should be ranked higher than that myself.
I tell you what, they've got an opportunity to go higher. And after what they did to number 11, South Carolina earlier this week, beating them by 40 in the jungle, if they're able to come away from the jungle again this evening with a win over Kentucky, I believe they will absolutely be higher, most likely in the top 10.
Offensive foul on Roach, by the way. Duke by 9, FSU with the ball. Let's see if Jamir Watkins gets rolling here in the second half. Over the top pass, it's going to be stuffed in by Cam Corrin.
Great job by Jamir Watkins, drawing the defense and throwing it up to where only his teammate can finish it off.
Duke on the road for the first time since the 3rd of February. Foster and batted out. Jalen Worley playing some defense in the second half.
And Jamir Watkins providing some playmaking here in the second half. Getting downhill, tossing it up. Cameron Corrin with a strong 2-hand finish.
As Caitlin Clark. She did it this week. She broke the all-time scoring record in women's college basketball, and so appropriately with a 3-pointer at home.
And she said, you guys knew I was going to go with a logo 3 for the record, right? I mean, of course, Caitlin Clark, spectacular, the most notable athlete in college athletics today. I don't care what sport, what gender, she is the star.
Became the scoring leader with 3,569 points. Had 49 points in the win, by the way. Foster launching, can't hit it. Mitchell grabbing the board. Had it knocked out of his hands, and Worley right there. Worley having a very impactful second half for the Seminoles. And that's going to go the other way. 15:37 to go.
And Florida State's done a great job of not turning the basketball over. Only 5 turnovers to this point, but an opportunity for them to cut into this lead and give the opportunity away without getting a quality look on the offensive end.
McCain so far quiet in the second half. 25 points in the game, though. Drives and kicks. Roach with a 17-footer. No. Filipowski going for the rebound and knocked out a play by FSU.
That's one of the things for Duke. You're talking about McCain has had a quiet second half, which he has, but that's by design from Florida State. But now what do you do when you actually throw the ball into the post to the preseason ACC Player of the Year? No double teaming at this point anymore, so Kyle Filipowski should be eating here in the second half.
Over the top to the big fella. McCain, an electrifying first 20. Pulls up and didn't hit the shot, but he'll be at the line.
John Shire thinking along the same lines. He's pointing to Kyle Filipowski. Get in the paint. Had Jalen Worley guarding him. He wants Filipowski posting strong.
McCain's had some nice scoring games at 23 against Carolina, 21 against Clemson. I think as impressive as anything for the freshman. He came into the game with only 24 turnovers, Corey, in his first 24 college games.
Well, he's a very high IQ basketball player. Chris Carrawell says in the 6 years that he's been back at Duke as an assistant coach, Jared McCain is the hardest working guy that he's had throughout that stretch. You think back the last 6 years, Duke has had some studs, some Zion, RJ. You got some big time names, but he said Jared McCain is absolutely the hardest working guy that they've had.
Watkins swings the pass on a spin. Worley too strong. McCain with a board. That's what he's been doing as well as anything.
Yeah, and didn't have any rebounds in the first half, so now he's getting back to what he's been doing, as you mentioned, as of late.
Turned over as we go to Myron.
Yeah, Jared McCain, John Shire said, can really take hard coaching. I was talking to players before the game, coaches before the game, and they said, listen, he's like a glue guy. He kind of reminds you of the players you see in the Miami Heat culture, just will do anything you ask of them. That's who Jared McCain is for this Duke team.
He's a guy, Myron, that's about winning, has a gold medal with USA Basketball. He's a young man that understands what's necessary to win. You see right there getting into the passing lane, coming up with the steal. And again, he's not thinking about his own. But of course, when you got a guy that's on a heater like that, they're going to hunt shots.
Bowen hunting for him and deflected it. Got the block. It'll stay right here for Duke. Crowd didn't like that. 51-43, the Blue Devils. And just over 14 minutes to play in this contest at Tallahassee. Filipowski, a high post. Likes that move. And overcame another big in Jalen Gainey. This it looks like Florida State of like the previous 10 years. Lots of block shots.
Absolutely. Coach Ham talked to us about their lack of rim protection, but that's one of the areas that Jalen Gainey can provide. The Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year in 2019, and where he led the Ivy in block shots.
Filipowski well short. That was with the shot clock winding down. Look at the size for FSU. They've had bigger teams, but 6'11", 6'10", 6'10", 6'10", 6'10".
Those numbers are normally over 7 feet. When we look at a Florida State roster, that's, you know, what we've seen from Leonard Hamilton, and Sean Stewart does a great job defensively coming up with the steal.
Roach up ahead, Filipowski to slam it.
Give Sean Stewart a lot of credit, getting out 40 feet from the basket and coming up with the steal, getting on the floor to maintain possession for his team.
And Duke back in front by 10 again. That was their lead at the break. Watkins. Green Jr. trying to heat up. McCain sticking with him. Can't drop it down. Worley with the rebound. Couldn't finish it. And now McCain in the open floor. A long one. Around and out. Watkins quickly in transition. No basket there. They waved that off. He was fouled before it. Before that shot. 13-16 to go.
Sean Stewart getting out, doing a great job defensively. And as he goes down, the presence of mind to find Jeremy Roach, whose head is up, looking for Kyle Filipowski, the easy finish on the other end to extend the lead to 10 for Duke here on the road.
Seminoles get it in, looking for a quick strike, but airmailed by Watkins.
And Watkins, who got off such a great start, OB, after getting those 2 fouls, sat for a long time. He's been quiet offensively as well.
Duke, on the other hand, just 1 out of 8. Their last 8 shots, just 1 make. Here's McCain again. Lakes will back it to the logo. Filipowski doubled up. It spits free. Watkins will drive and lay it in, and a foul too.
Such a smart play by Watkins. Talking with Steve Smith, the assistant coach for Florida State earlier, he talked about how high of a basketball IQ Jamir Watkins has, and you see it here, just getting his body in harm's way, shielding off Kyle Filipowski to get the contact, the bucket, and opportunity for the and one.
Watkins came in with 10 consecutive double-figure scoring games. one thing about Duke today, they've been turning the ball over, as you mentioned, 11 times, averaging 9.5 turnovers a game coming into play today.
That's what Florida State does. Florida State averages 9.5 steals per game, so something had to give. And right now, it's been Florida State turning that defense into offense, 14 points off turnovers.
So staying connected. McCain has it poked away. Once again, it's Worley. Ball over the top, and a slam by Corin.
And that's another 2 points off turnovers. Great job defensively by the Seminoles to make it a 6-point game. And now the crowd here at the Tuck is back in it.
Bowen will commit the foul on a driving Filipowski. Tell you what, Jalen Warren here in the second half, Worley has been the man defensively.
Yeah, Worley doing a great job getting his hand in, and then Taylor Bowen being able to handle it and throw it up to Cam Corn, who's having a very efficient shooting afternoon today. Corn 5 of 6 from the field for 10 points for him.
Well, Duke right behind North Carolina, half game back in the standings, coming into play today in the ACC. Virginia won a big one today as they held off Wake Forest to win by 2. So the top of the conference really interesting here as we get ready to go down the stretch. Mitchell. Here's Young back in. Roach with 10 to shoot. Roach will drive it amongst the trees. Young retrieved it. It's batted free, and it'll stay with the Duke Blue Devils. 3 to get off his shot. 11:36 to go here in the second half. Here inside the Tuck in Tallahassee, Dave O'Brien and Corey Alexander with you as we follow McCain's progress. First half, the youngster at 25, 1 point so far in the second half.
Well, Florida State's done a much better job of staying connected with him, not helping off of Jared McCain, not giving him those easy looks. He hasn't tried to force it. However, he's had a number of other guys step up. But right now, Duke cannot shake the Seminoles if they made a 6-point game because of the 12 turnovers that they forced from the Blue Devils.
So career high 26, 7 threes, closing in on a record. FSU a big advantage in the paint. That got it knocked free.
No, but you can see the defensive intensity of the Seminoles has picked up significantly here in the second half.
Roach, 3 to get off a shot, off the front of the iron. Legs following his own miss as he went spinning to the deck, tied up. Possession arrow will take it to the other end of the floor.
There's that competitor that John Shire talks about, Jalen Blanks, getting involved. And even though Duke does not get possession from that, they changed the possession arrow so they would get the next one. And Blanks with the offensive rebound off the Jeremy Roach miss is able to get over there and allow the Blue Devils to get their defense set. So there's not a transition opportunity for Florida State.
Worley back up top for Corin. And a turnover with exactly 11 minutes left.
But another careless turnover for Florida State. There was nothing Duke did to force that turnover. Just a simple pass and catch that went around.
Young upset the screen. Coach, you can see him lock eyes there with McCain to try to get him the ball. Mitchell, strong, following his own miss, sticks that one in.
But great recognition by Mark Mitchell, seeing that the middle of the floor is wide open. He just has one defender to be able to beat, was able to do that and get a shot on the glass, and then the second jump to finish it off.
Chandler Jackson in, the sophomore from Memphis. On the curl, Watkins drops in 2.
Got a little extracurriculars going on right now. Darren Green Jr., Jared McCain getting mixed up a bit. Darren Green was fortunate to be able to get away with not getting called for an offensive foul on that possession. Both guys looking at the officials.
Kane finding an opening. Now 3 shirts around him. Forced it up there and reaches in and commits a foul.
But it's getting chippy. After that possession, Green putting the ball in the chest of McCain, and you see Green right there. Fortunate that was not called as an offensive foul. And
officials are going to head over to the monitor here. We'll take the break. 9:57 remaining here in Tallahassee.
Having health insurance.
McCain just went to the line for Duke and hit 2 technical foul shots. Here's what they call.
Well, you see after the play, now Jared McCain, who is unable to get the shot to go here, fouls Darren Green. But after the play, the whistle's blown. Darren Green turns and sticks the basketball into Jared McCain's chest, which gets him a dead ball technical foul. 2 free throws, which were made by Jared McCain, and now possession for the Blue Devils, allowing them to possibly make this a double-digit game.
Filipowski with the touch. Going strong. Follows his miss. That's blocked high out of the sky by Watkins. Long one hit, but guess who? McCain absolutely drilled it.
Stone cold killer, OB. 5 points on that possession for Jared McCain after getting a foul on the other end. We told you it was getting chippy between he and Darren Green Jr., and the battle has been won by McCain.
So Duke's all-time record by a player is 9 3-point makes. Shane Battier there. He's got one for him with the dunk. J.J. Redick did it in 05. McCain now with 8. So closing in on that record for Duke. He's shattering all sorts of records in this one.
One thing we've got to be careful of with the matchup between these 2 guys, with Green and McCain. Cooler heads have to prevail because they've both been dishing it out.
Going to be against Duke as Green Jr. went sprawling to the deck, and he's joined with Filipowski.
But here's the thing, Darren Green Jr. already with 1 technical foul. He went back and had something to say to Filipowski. He's fortunate, as the officials now, I believe, are going to go back and look at this. No, they're not going to. They're going to play on. Darren Green very fortunate that they did not go back to look at this one. It's going to be interesting to see if Leonard Hamilton leaves Darren Green Jr. in the game, or if he gets him out to allow him to cool down for a second.
Worley, nice dish and a whistle, and a foul against the Blue Devils as Gainey took the hit. Jalen Gainey just 11 for 24 at the foul line. So a real problem for the 6'10 grad. 8:36 to go. Ryan Young to check back in now for John Shire.
Baba Miller also at the table. And he's going to get Darren Green Jr. I think that's a great substitution by Leonard Hamilton to get Darren Green a break and allow him to cool down a little bit. He's fortunate that they did not go back and look at that last one, because he actually, after getting fouled, which was a great call, went back over to Filipowski with something to say. And Darren Green, very important to this Florida State team. They need to make sure he stays in this game.
His second league scorer, 12 a game, and very dangerous outside that 3-point line. Baba Miller also back in now for Leonard Hamilton. He's playing with 4 fouls. 8-point game. Duke having trouble shaking the Seminoles to this point. Roach off the dribble. Mitchell, nifty fake, slapped away. Roach picked up the loose ball and hits it.
Just a veteran play by Jeremy Roach, sticking his nose in the middle of all the big bodies and being able to come up in the presence of mind and poise to see the shot clock and get an easy bucket.
So it's back up to 10 for Duke. Long one coming and knocked down by Jackson.
Big bucket for Chandler Jackson. As Jared McCain slows it down, does not force an opportunity on that one. But that was a huge response from Chandler Jackson on the offensive end.
McCain with 31. They'll step back. That one won't drop in. Watkins wants to push the tempo. Jackson just hit a long triple a moment ago. Miller tried to feed the big underneath. Worley will kick. Here's Jackson again, but too strong. And over the top of the backboard, it'll be Duke ball. So we'll break with 7 minutes and 14 seconds to go. Still a ball game. Duke 62, FSU 55. $100 per chance for Kids Against Cancer and the V Foundation. Tremendous events for our great friend Dick Vitale.
And that Kentucky at Auburn game is a Dickie V special. We can see him in the jungle at Auburn right now being carried through the jungle. So Dickie V, get well soon, our guy.
And you know he'd be loving every minute of it. Foster at midcourt for Duke on top, 62-55. Young looking for someone to make a cut. McCain 31 points, leaning in. Doors still open here for the Seminoles on their home floor.
Yeah, right now Florida State needs to make sure they get quality looks on the offensive end of the floor. This is where Bob Miller at 6'11", so he's listed, has to be a factor.
Went for the dunk.
Especially when he's got a guard trying to defend him in the post. That basketball has to go to Miller to allow him to be able to go to work with Jared McCain defending him.
Gainey had it knocked out of his hands, so couldn't finish the lob. Caleb Foster looking to operate on a crossover, the jumper. Second chance. It came to McCain. He's drawn a lot of boos here, but he knows how to quiet them too.
He absolutely does. He has become public enemy #1 here in Donald Tucker Center. However, OB, this will probably be the only time he ever plays here. I'm not sure they'll have a chance to do that again.
33 points here today. Putting on a show. 2 points away from the Duke freshman record. Another alley-oop attempt and the stuff. That time it was big Bob Miller to slam it.
And that's something that's been available for the Seminoles throughout this game. When they're able to get it to the painted area, just throw it up, allow their athletes to go to work.
Speaking of going to work, McCain again. Trying to get the pass free and gave it away. And anytime he doesn't do something like nail a three from like 24 feet, the fans are all over him here.
And that is what you call respect. Anytime you make a mistake, they notice, because he hasn't made many here this afternoon.
Sure hasn't. He has been sensational. Worley will take his time now to drive it. Miller. And picked off by McCain. He read that beautifully. 5 minutes to go at Tallahassee. And a timeout. Duke will take one here. And on top 64-57. So down the stretch we come here at the Tuck.
The sidelines. I'm just going to put that out there now.
I hear you. And you hear McCain getting booed at every turn.
And he loves it, OB.
On the drive, off the window, no. Free in the corner. FSU comes away.
And that's just a mistake by Corin, trying to throw the basketball off of a Duke defender. And we mentioned Jalen Blake's on the last possession when he got the tie ball. It changes the possession arrow. So the Blue Devils will keep this one.
That was a wild sequence.
Yeah, Corin just unable to do anything with it. Couldn't get it to one of his teammates. Made the mistake of trying to throw it off of a Duke defender.
I think sometimes young players become infatuated with that play instead of looking for someone who's open.
But it also has to be done at the right angle.
Right.
Because you want it to go out of bounds. You don't want it to stay in play. That one stays in play and gets the basketball back to the opponent.
Knocked out by Worley. Duke will keep it here. 4:39. McCain bounces for Young.
Darren Green back on the floor for the Seminoles. He's a guy that Florida State needs to try to get going on the offensive end as well.
Shot clock down to 7. Roach sees it, fires, hits it. A three-pointer and a big one.
And not just Jared McCain. Jeremy Roach has it too. He's got that ability to get hot quickly. Big bucket to stretch the lead back to double figures.
45% from the 3. Picked on by McCain. McCain trying to feed Roach and tossed it away.
And Jeremy Roach just looks and smiles because McCain was expecting Roach to stop at the three-point line. Roach was going in for the layup. Ends up being a turnover. But how about Jared McCain not only doing it offensively, that's the second time we've seen him come up with a huge steal on that end of the floor.
Duke got back up by 10 here. That's the lead they had at halftime. Watkins with a pull-up. 6-it. Jamir Watkins, he's been in foul trouble today and has not been on his game. But 13 points for the 6'7" junior.
That's a tough bucket by Watkins to be able to get it back to an 8-point game. A highly contested shot, but he was able to make it good in the middle of the paint.
Oh, here comes the bread guy.
Ugh, don't you? To win when you're giving the basketball away. It's honestly fortunate for Coach Ham and this group that they have a winning record in ACC play with those type of numbers.
7-6 coming in the league. Pressure again from the Noles. And now they'll back it away. Tyrese Proctor, a concussion, did not make the trip for Duke. Foster at the point. Unfortunately for Florida State, Jared McCain did make the trip. 33 points and a sensational outing. Trying to add on to that right now. A little floater for 2.
And that 35 now ties Zion Williamson for the Duke record in points scored in a game. But with 3:05 remaining, he may not be done yet, OB.
Back to a 10-point advantage. Miller takes a stumble, and it's going to be a blocking foul on Caleb Foster. So a closer look. Duke freshman, 35 points, tying Williamson. And a great chance to have it all to himself in the next few seconds. Bob Miller, only 49% at the stripe. Drops in the first one. Grew up in Spain. And grew 9 inches between the ages of 14 and 18.
Extremely talented. That's the reason why he still has the guard ability, because he was a guard until that 9-inch growth spurt by Bob Miller. Florida State would love if he were more aggressive, both defensively and offensively.
Foster. Nice pass. Mitchell with the dunk.
I'm not sure why Bob Miller went out to trap Caleb Foster at half court, leaving Mitchell wide open under the basket. If you're going to try to get the basketball out of someone's hand, Caleb Foster isn't necessarily the guy. You want to do that when Jared McCain has it.
Green Jr. will give it up. Jamir Watkins. Got Filipowski on him. Pass somehow did get to Worley. He'll lay it up and in.
Jeremy Roach got a hand on that basketball. Fortunately for Worley, he was able to finish it off.
2:15 left.
But Caleb Foster, as you see Bob Miller coming out, Caleb Foster already has an advantage over Cam Corn. But when you leave a guy wide open under the basket, Caleb Foster way too good to give him that. Is about as easy as it's going to get in the ACC game.
And Tuesday we have a men's basketball doubleheader for you on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Florida State will be hosting Boston College right here in Tallahassee, and then Pittsburgh squaring off against Wake Forest. Coverage beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Both Wake and Pitt trying to play their way into the NCAA tournament field.
Yeah, OB, that is a huge game on Wednesday night to be able to see those two teams going at it. Pitt coming off a win at Virginia earlier in the week. Wake Forest losing at Virginia this afternoon. But you see Pittsburgh at 7-6 in the standings, Wake at 8-6. One of those teams could represent the ACC in the NCAA tournament, but they're going to have to absolutely get hot down the stretch.
We saw Wake Forest the other night falling at Cameron Indoor, but we see a lot of college basketball. To me, they passed the eye test right down the line.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but one of the things that the NCAA has taken away this year as far as the committee is concerned, they don't take into consideration the last 10 games anymore. I think that's a huge mistake by the committee, because what you want is teams that are playing their best at the end of the year. That makes a better NCAA tournament, not judging teams based upon what they did in November and December. Let's look at what they did in February and March.
One part of the pie is quad 1 wins. They don't have any yet. As we approach the 2-minute mark, 71-63 Duke. Foster doing a really good job controlling the basketball here when the Blue Devils have the rock, and we're under 2, and he'll draw a foul. Old Bowen will pick up foul number 2. Not shooting yet, so it'll be McCain to check it in from the scorer's table area. Roach. Worley guarding him. They've got 10 to shoot it. Roach on the drive, and it's going to be a palming violation.
And Duke had that set up perfectly. Roach attacking to the right side. Was supposed to deliver a strike to Kyle Filipowski outside the three-point line, who was open and would have got a good look. Unfortunately for Roach, mishandling the basketball. However, it is a dead ball turnover, which allows Duke to get their defense set.
Green Jr. way downtown. Filipowski one and done for the Seminoles. Mitchell. And they break the pressure.
You take that layup if you're Caleb Foster. You bring it back out, and it ends up being what, close to a turnover. Fortunate to be able to get it back, but had a wide open layup that he didn't take advantage of.
Foul with 1:11 to go, and some of the Florida State fans beginning to move to the exits here.
I believe that's what Kyle Filipowski was telling Foster. Hey, you get an easy one like that. And with a minute and 11 seconds left, you go take that. Force them to be able to come over and block it at the rim. But an easy 2 points goes a long way, forcing it to a 10-point game.
The junior Roach at the line, 87% shooter there. And Jeremy, the 68th player in Duke history to score 1,000 points. Coach K had a lot of them.
Yeah, best season of his career at Duke. He has truly shown up as a leader for this team this year. And as hot as Jared McCain has been, Jeremy Roach has stepped up and made a number of big buckets here on the road.
Watkins has to hustle. Miller. Ugly shot. Mitchell with the rebound. And another stoppage and another whistle with 57.9 on the clock. And Duke trying to salt this one away at the foul line and pick up a big win in the ACC on the road. They had not traveled away from Cameron Indoor since February 3rd.
But now in a stretch of 3 straight on the road for the Blue Devils. So if John Shire and his team are able to hold on for this remaining 57.9, this will be a great win for them, building that momentum. And remembering they did this without Tyrese Proctor.
But with Jared McCain. And a spectacular ball game here today for the freshman out of Sacramento, California. And smashing several records for a freshman for the Duke Blue Devils along the way. Roach making the first. So this to put the Blue Devils ahead by 11. And Florida State has just not been able to cut into the lead really and maintain it since halftime.
They cut it to 5 at one point, but not able to get any closer. That 5-point possession by Jared McCain after the technical foul would truly be a difference maker. Knocking down the 2 free throws and then hitting the 3 at the end of that possession to get it back to a double-digit game, and Duke has pretty much maintained a lead from 9 to 11 ever since.
Mark Mitchell with a foul on the reach, puts Corrin at the line. Can't hit the front end of the 1-and-1. And another loose ball picked up by FSU. Tried that one free from McCain and spun up and in for 2. And going to be a timeout here by Leonard Hamilton with 45 seconds on the clock. 74-65. Jared McCain, if you're just joining us, was just incredible, particularly in the first half.
Jared McCain got it going. OB knocking down the 3-ball in transition, able to go off the bounce, creating enough space to get his shot off. And this was the one at the end of the shot clock. Offensive rebound after a technical foul. He was able to knock down a 3-ball, a 5-point possession for Jared McCain. That runner in the lane was the one that allowed him to get to 35 points, which is tying Zion Williamson for the most points by a Duke freshman with 35. And McCain most likely will be the guy going to the basketball trying to get fouled and possibly be able to hold that record all of his own at the free throw line here in this remaining 45.2.
At 25 in the first half, just couldn't miss from 3-point land. Everything he put up was dropping. Good enough to become a villain here in Tallahassee.
Oh yes, he has absolutely become that. But that is the best sign of respect that you could ever ask for when you come into an opponent's arena for the first time, and by the time you end, they boo you every time you touch the basketball. That means you have left a lasting impression.
Yeah. It hardly ever happens for a freshman.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got to be pretty special. Mitchell to the line, 71% for the 6'9" sophomore.
Duke leaving the door open, not taking care of business at the free throw line.
Watkins trying to get a shot up. He'll slice inside, left it short. Now Roach will draw the foul. 27.9 to go. And the most reliable foul shooter that Duke has, Roach at 87%. So he'll be headed to the stripe here. Duke about to pick up win number 20. Go to 20-5 and 11-3 in the ACC, and right on the heels of North Carolina.
And minus the COVID season, this would be the 27th consecutive year that the Blue Devils have gotten to 20 wins.
And that'll rattle in. Early handing off for Green Jr. That'll be tipped a couple of times. Florida State relentless on the glass, but 4 chances and it would not go. Finally, that one will drop by Corrin. But 11 seconds to go.
They don't want to foul that guy.
McCain.
And it's fitting he ends the game with the basketball in his hands as his new favorite friends, as Dawn Staley would say, they're not booing him, they're just calling him boo.